Hi, I'm Martine Bernard.
And I'm Monty Haas, and this is Words That Cook,
Parenting with Children's Books.
Well, Martine, here we are back at the Carroll School in Lincoln, Massachusetts, where teachers and families are helping kids overcome the hurdles of dyslexia and other language-based learning differences.
But the ideas and methods that are used here can help any student. Today, we're going to focus on techniques that are powerful tools for success.
That sounds like a great fit for this show's theme, empowered learning. You know, Martine, I'm really excited about being back at classes again today.
Why's that, Monty?
Because I want to show off my own project to Chip Smith, the woodworking teacher.
You really made that when you were in school?
I did. I loved being in wood shop. Still do.
That's great, but don't forget the shade.
A man leaves home, takes 3 left turns. Upon arriving back home, sees 2 men wearing masks.
A goalie.
No. Okay, think about it.
Oh, the umpires.
And?
People at bat.
No.
The people at bat.
Who wears a mask? The catcher. The umpire and the catcher.
I love the way you started the class with a brain teaser. Tell me why you did that.
I do it to get the kids focused. When they come to my classroom, they come from all over the campus. They might have been in Bounders, PE, they might have been with a language tutor, and I want to get them all in here focused so that they're safe in the shop. And the way I do that is with a brain teaser. Gets them thinking, they're working as a group, and they enjoy it.
Tell me more about the use of vocabulary.
Well, you can't do woodworking or most anything without knowing the correct words. And with woodworking, especially when I'm starting with the younger kids, they need to know the proper nomenclature. For instance, a piece of wood has 3 dimensions: length, width, and thickness. How many dimensions does a piece of wood have?
3.
And what are they?
Length, width, and height. Thickness.
No. Thickness. Okay. A piece of wood does not have height because I can hold the piece of wood. Girls, I can hold the piece of wood any way I want, and the 3 dimensions don't change. It's still the same length, the same width, and the same thickness. They need to know the correct term when they come to me to ask me what they need. I tell my students when they come into my class that my ultimate goal for them is for them to be able to do woodworking outside of this shop. I love woodworking, and I want them to love woodworking. It's a life skill, and it's not a luxury.
And if they're taking away that confidence, it translates to other classes as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you can do math in here, you can do math in math class. My kids love going back to their homeroom teachers with the brain teasers I gave them and testing their teachers. And they know something that their teacher doesn't know, and they love that.
Hey, Martine. We're going to tag along with a student named Annie to join her in some of her classes today.
I heard, and I'm off to the library to meet with Andrea Marks, Annie's language tutor.
I've got to catch Annie before she goes into her language tutoring session.
Okay, see you later.
What are your favorite classes there at the Carroll School?
Gym and wood art.
What do you do in wood art?
I did a boat, and now I'm doing a plane.
What do you do in, say, your tutoring class?
She teaches me about the vowels and suffixes, the endings, the prefixes, and you can actually learn a lot. I've improved since her.
And this word is?
Teacher.
And teacher has how many syllables?
2.
Can you show me on your arm?
Teacher.
Very nice. The first syllable is?
Teach.
And what kind of syllable is that? Because we're at the end of a section of tutoring, and Annie has learned a number of different concepts, I have her look at a word, read the word, and then identify characteristics about the word. EA is a
Diphthong.
good.
Syllable.
So it's a
So it's a diphthong syllable.
good girl. And the second syllable is, you can tell it to me, you can read it.
NR controlled.
Excellent.
And it also can be a suffix.
That's right. ER in this word is a suffix because a person who teaches is
A teacher.
good girl.
So should I put one here
Yes,
too?
you should.
Okay.
Because Orton-Gillingham is a multi-sensory program, it seems to help to have her use something tactile as well as auditory and visual, and it helps reinforce the skills that she's learned.
So the exercise that you did with the colored tokens is an example of that.
She can use the tokens to visually see where her correct answer is, and this can act as positive reinforcement for the answers that she gives me and the skills she has in decoding sounds and words.
Do you have any suggestions to parents at home how they can apply what you do here as an expert?
I think the best thing parents can do is read with their children and read to their children and model for their children, and getting it right is good reinforcement. Well, said Amelia Bedelia, you should be glad.
Well, said Amelia Bedelia, you should be glad.
I would never fry your eggs on a dirty old sidewalk.
I would never fry your eggs on a dirty old sidewalk.
So she thought she was doing him a favor, I guess. We very often have the tutor read first and then have the child read afterwards, so that she has a model of how everything is decoded and how it sounds in the sentence, and also to help attain fluency in each sentence.
Hey, Martine, I found you. What you reading?
I am reading a wonderful book that was recommended to me by the librarian. It's called Yellow Bird and Me by Joyce Henson. It's about 6th grade students who discover how they learn, and they learn a lot about themselves, too.
Like Annie. She sure is happy with her progress.
Yes, and I'll talk again with her tutor later on. Something about playing catch with words.
Sounds interesting. I'm on my way now to a language class that's co-taught by Joan Walker and Joan Snell to find out what they're going to do with words.
Okay, I'm going to keep reading.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Daybreak came, slowly moving through the woods and yawning as its rays slowly stretched across the snowy meadows. Were there any lovely words that you heard that you might want to use?
They knew that they were looking for words that they were going to love enough to put into their own writing. And we've been doing this with them all year, starting back in the fall, so that they're very accustomed to looking for phrases that they like.
What are those words?
We had given a lesson on adjectives before, and we referred to them as delicious words. And the children were very well versed in this, and they were able to identify words that they felt rippled off their tongues and tickled their mouths, and so they were very excited about their delicious words that they could choose.
The students are actually choosing their own vocabulary words to learn, and then they have an application for them. So it becomes very exciting for them.
The twisting, right? Snowflakes. And what did they do?
Flew past the snowman.
Flew. And what does past the snowman tell me?
We went through a phase where everybody was writing about spectral white. I think you'll recall that.
They would use it all over the school as they were walking. You know, everything had a spectral perspective to it. So that was the ownership. And then they were very proud of themselves.
I like the idea that you formed your own thesaurus for them, because that in itself can be something that's intimidating to a student.
They only needed something that was very manageable to them, a page that we actually made up ourselves, so that they wouldn't say the big or the small. In fact, we told them that those words were forbidden, and they had to use words such as enormous and minuscule. And they found these words very exciting because most of them had never been able to utilize them in their writing before. And once they had them actually written down, so that we had overcome problems with retrieval and problems with spelling, all of a sudden this became part of their writing.
Hey, Martine.
Hey, Monty. What was that class about?
The beauty of words and the power of creating your own thesaurus.
Finding new words can empower and inspire.
Motivate and stimulate.
Exactly.
You know, it's time for me to catch up with Annie again in her performing arts class with Bruce Pasha and Shay Chattel.
Ah, yes. Music and drama.
The theater, my dear.
The stage.
The boards.
Broadway.
When you get to the point where you can't hear the gong anymore, you want to simply just raise your hand. Okay? Here we go.
Tell us about the gong that you use at the top of the class to help the kids focus.
These kids have a very busy day, and they come into our space, and it's a big space, and they still have to remember that even though we're having fun, there's a lot of discipline and structure that you need in music and theater arts. So the gong allows them to sit down and recognize that the day and all the movement needs to stop, and you need to get ready to learn.
Correct.
What do you see in terms of the language arts development that you're trying to help them get across? Today we watched a lot of improv that was going on. Talk to me about what that's helping them master.
Some of our kids have difficulty with what's called word retrieval. They know what they want to say, they know what it is, but they can't get into their file cabinet and get the right word and get it out of their mouth. And practicing improv gives them practice in this business of word retrieval and helps them get more quickly to the file cabinet to get the right word and to get it out of there.
Shay, you had them doing some interesting mirror activities. What's this helping them do in terms of focus?
It's teaching them the benefits of eye contact and the power of being able to focus on one thing and one thing only and shutting down all your other senses. It gives them this magnificent feeling that I am part of a group, and the group is powerful. And isn't it great? If you do what everyone else is doing, there's an amazing amount of positive energy that can come from that and self-confidence.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses, all the king's men could not put Humpty together again.
How does this empower the children? What does this do to give them their own voice?
Well, first of all, it gives them more choices. Okay? When you can express yourself in a variety of different ways, you can bring more meaningfulness to what you say. It's helping them take what's inside themselves, what's inside their heads, their energy, their thoughts, their feelings, and again, coming back to that same word, expressing them in a variety of different ways. And that's where the empowerment comes from, is helping them get what's inside out in a really effective way.
Peter Piper picked a pack of peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of peppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Another thing that I noticed that you focused on was tongue twisters.
When most people speak, day to day, they very often will speak in a way that's not very clearly articulated. But when you speak in a dramatic sense on a stage, when you sing lyrics, in order to really get your message across, you have to be able to be clear and articulate. And the tongue twister is probably one of the best devices for giving the kids that skill.
It's also another example of having fun while you're learning, which brings in the humor, which makes it exciting for us.
Parents at home watching the show, what kinds of things can they do in the family environment to help foster these kinds of skills?
Lots and lots and lots of theater games, dramatic play, dancing, singing, just in your own little living room, getting up, playing some music, dancing together, reading books, acting them out. Mom can read the book, Dad can read the book, the kids can act the story out while they read the books, puppet shows from those types of stories. It's endless.
Performing arts class was a blast. I just love those tongue twisters.
And they can help you with your elocution. Hey, what did you bring for lunch?
Well, I wanted a freshly fried, fat-flying fish, but all I got was this peanut butter sandwich.
You wanted a what?
Nothing. This peanut butter's bitter. I bet a bit of butter will make it better, but I don't have a bit of butter to make it better, so I guess bitter is all I'll get.
Now that's a mouthful. And while we're eating, Lori Joy has a surprise for Judy Riley and Chip.
Today I thought we'd come up with words to go with masks. Maybe we'll use them later at a party.
Party!
Hi.
Did someone say party?
I did. Hi, Chip. Hi, Judy. Pick out a mask. Words can be a lot of fun when you make up phrases that tickle the tongue.
Maybe Chip can tell us how he feels wearing the mask.
That's a good idea. You want to do that? Okay.
How does that make you feel? Like a rapid rabbit.
A rapid rabbit. Gotta say that one fast. Rapid rabbit, rapid rabbit, rapid rabbit.
Ooh. Now, who are you now, Chip? You are a wacky wandering waddler.
A wacky wandering waddler. Wacky wandering waddler. Now that's a tongue twister. Wacky wandering waddler. Cute.
What's that? That is a noisy, rosy nose.
A noisy, rosy nose. I see the rosy nose, but is it really noisy? Let's see.
We certainly have seen a lot of ways to empower kids to learn today, Martine.
Yes, and to think and express themselves clearly and accurately.
And to have some fun doing it too.
Right. Now I'm going to Annie's language class to see what strategies her teacher Judy Ball uses.
While you're up here, would you show us, work on the subject? Why don't you show us the adjectives? And everybody check your work. All right.
In diagramming the sentences, it gives them the structure for their sentences, but it also gives us a method to talk to them about their sentences. When they're editing, if a child doesn't write a sentence and just has a verb with no subject, we can go back and say, what's your subject? So that it helps them to edit for completeness and accuracy. It also will show them, like today on our triangles, when we were moving the when, in trying to vary the sentence structure to make their writing more interesting.
What is the difference between this sentence and that sentence? Annie, you want to try telling us? Since you finished this one for us, can you?
Because on Thursday evening, they changed it to the front.
Yeah. Right there.
So if you're always writing with the noun, the subject in the same way, it gives them a way that they can vary it.
What do the games reinforce and why do you use them?
They will enjoy it and they're having fun with it and they're able to help each other in a very informal way. They will reinforce the terms. You noticed on the board I said to give me the adjective first, give me the verb second. And we set it up so that I'm using the terminology and they're retrieving and putting it in that sequence. And it's a fun way. They were having fun doing it.
Thing that you have a bee with, then you get the honey.
Talk to us about the strengths that Annie brings to class and how you reinforce those.
Annie has a lot of strengths in that she loves to participate in the class. She has a lot of knowledge that she brings in, that she always loves to contribute. Basically, because she does contribute, I can always call on her and use her to initiate a conversation with the other students.
Can you tell me, Annie, what fabulous is?
It's the describer.
Okay, and what am I going to do to show you it's a describer?
Box it.
Okay, so it's our adjective.
Because she's also contributing when she has difficulty retrieving something, it helps and we practice her strategies.
So you are using her strengths to address the areas where she's not as strong?
Yes, precisely.
How can parents do that with their kids?
Well, parents know what the kids are very interested in and what they do well, so they can pull that information. For example, Annie, she has a lot of activities that she does, and her mother came to our class and they made scrolls, gave Annie opportunity to speak in front of the class and to demonstrate and to use her language to explain things to the class. So it was able to build on her strengths and her outside interests.
And definitely garner a lot of confidence from that.
Absolutely, yes, and the kids loved it.
Where have you seen the biggest progress with Annie?
her retrieval of information. When she would try and retrieve a word, she would talk a lot and say, oh, I can't do this. She's gotten that to calm down a bit and to use a strategy of going through the alphabet, or what does it begin with, but so that she's more calm and can be focused on what she's trying to pull out and retrieve.
And how can parents reinforce something like that?
Parents can also do the same strategy at home. They can just say, stop. Now, what does it begin with? What do you go through the alphabet, even listen to the sounds, and walk them through it themselves. They can do the same thing we do.
Hey, Martine, you said something earlier about playing catch with words. I'm ready.
It's not that kind of catch, Monty, but I'm sure Andrea Marks and Annie will show me exactly what they mean.
Okay, catch you later.
Ha ha, Monty. Tell me about playing catch with words.
Part of each lesson is called simultaneous oral spelling. We call it SOS for short. And we, as part of the multisensory aspect of the lesson, we pretend to throw the word to the child. Milk.
Milk. M-I-L-K. M-I-L-K.
Very nicely done. The child catches it in her non-writing hand and then associates in sequence the sounds of the word and points to each finger as she says each sound in the word. Now, a sound may be composed of more than one letter, but each finger gets a sound. And then, after that, goes back to the first finger and spells out the word with the letters, and then writes down each word that has been thrown.
It's great because the whole idea of sounding and piecing out with that and giving yourself some kind of tactile reference, because I know for myself as a child it would be so hard to think it out or visualize it in your mind.
It's hard to visualize it, and yes, they can feel it, and what's difficult about the activity is to take a word, break it down into its individual parts, then put it back together and put it on paper. So this is a very specific sequential activity and multisensory at the same time.
But it seems very reinforcing.
Very. And Annie does a good job with it.
Now let's review the highlights of today's show. Chip Smith suggests that you use brain teasers to focus children's attention. And remember, confidence leads to academic success.
Like Andrea Marks, read with your children and to your children. With challenging material, model the pronunciation of words, and play with the sounds that make up words.
Joan Walker and Joan Snell recommend that you have children identify words they love when reading. Develop a personalized thesaurus with your child, and use favorite words in daily conversation.
Like Bruce Pasha and Shay Chattel, engage children in activities that promote eye contact. Empower children with choices. Use tongue twisters to support articulation, and try all sorts of dramatic play at home.
Lori Joy suggests that you let kids make up their own tongue ticklers and repeat them together.
Judy Ball recommends that you use children's strengths to help them learn. Combine children's interest with learning experiences, and consider participating in classroom activities.
Now here's Miriam Marichek's recommended Words That Cook book list,
brought to you by the Cookie Bookie Bears.
For 0 to 3, Peanut Butter and Jelly, a play rhyme, illustrated by Nadine Bernard Westcott. And Time for Bed by Mem Fox. For 3 to 6, Shrinking Violet by Carrie Best. And The Toolbox by Anne and Harlow Rockwell. For 6 to 9, Once Upon a Starry Night, a Book of Constellations by Jacqueline Mitten. Water Dance by Thomas Locker. And A Writing Kind of Day, Poems for Young Poets by Ralph Fletcher. And for 9 to 12, Here in Harlem, Poems in Many Voices by Walter Dean Myers. The Roman Muse by Andrew Langley and Philip D'Souza. And A Simple Gift by Nancy Ruth Patterson.
For a complete list of books, links, and other great ideas that will help make reading more fun for you and your kids, go to our website, wordsthatcook.org.
Now you've got some new ideas to play with, so go and have some fun with Words That Cook.
Parenting with children's books in your kitchen.